Previously on Avatar.
And they get back up to their feet. Carlos Prates is going to be slower. He's going to be more hesitant. And now he's second-guessing himself because he's now thinking about the takedown instead of just flowing. And that's when I believe that Garry's striking will actually start to shine. I mean, he'll be looser, more comfortable, mixing things up with the kicks and the straight shots, while Carlos Prates, on the other hand, is stuck trying to react and, trying to catch his breath. I believe that reaction advantage, that ability to control the pace and mix in the grappling threat will be insanely essential for Garry later on during their fight. And then if Carlos Prates overcommits or slows down too much, Garry just shoots again. Maybe takes the back again, and this time, the finish might be there. Let's win no matter what, and Carlos Prates has had a little bit of that success lately. But I believe that Garry's the type of fighter, the kind of fighter to put an end to that plot armor. I mean, we've seen it already before when he had shit-rat plating for dear life, so something like that isn't necessarily out of the picture. You feel me? So, for my pick for this UFC Kansas City main event, I've got Ian Machado Garry all day long. I think he either gets the submission once the grind breaks Carlos Prates down, or he could win a very clear unanimous decision victory where he controls the action as well as eliminates the danger. I think this is going to be a smart man's fight. And Garry, for all the flash and hype, fights like he's got an ounce of brain cells. That is why I believe he...
And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 2,000 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, coming in to UFC Kansas City, I already knew that Garry was gonna pull it off. I said it and I stood by it, and sure enough, Ian Machado Garry went out there and put on an absolute masterclass of a performance against Carlos Prates yesterday night, handing one of the most hyped rising prospects in the welterweight division his first ever UFC loss. And he proved me right. And honestly, it felt kind of good, especially going 0 for 2 on both the main and co-main events for UFC 314, but we ain't finna get into that right now. But, at the same time, him winning just means that we're stuck with even more of Garry being Garry. But look, if I were in his shoes, I'd probably be stupid annoying too, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, think about it. He had 2 back-to-back short notice camps, dragged the boogeyman of the division into deep waters that he's never dipped his toes in before, and almost finished him. And then 4 months later, he took one of the most highly touted, undefeated, surging prospects in Carlos Prates and took the O from his entire undefeated team. Yeah, I'd be talking insanely, stupidly crazy as well. But, it's different when it's coming from Garry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just about the way he exudes that weird type of energy in his speeches and the way he carries himself. It's just like, But still, you've got to give credit where credit's due. And, we've got to start putting some respect on Garry's name, y'all. And I've been saying this for a little bit now. And look, I get it. Outside of the cage, he might come off as an annoying dickhead. But once those cage doors close, the guy's fight IQ is absolutely undeniable. Against Carlos Prates, Garry fought the perfect fight for 3 straight rounds. I'm talking about early on, he set the tone of the fight with, his jab, his calf kicks, remained sharp and fast and completely locked in. He stayed disciplined, using his elite perimeter movement to keep Carlos Prates stuck on the outside, basically chasing shadows. And, he was consistently giving Prates different looks. I'm talking about switching stances, throwing from weird angles, resetting after every combination, and, the takedown threat was also a humongous factor as well, just like I said in the pre-fight breakdown. And look, even when Garry wasn't landing takedowns, just the fact that he kept shooting over and over and over again just kept Carlos Prates guessing. He could never fully sit down on his strikes without wondering if he was about to get dragged onto the mat. And Garry just kept pressuring on, never letting him breathe and always putting something in Carlos Prates' face. Carlos Prates just had absolutely zero answers. I mean, he looked frozen, caught between wanting to throw and second guessing everything. And by the time he finally let his hands go in the 4th and 5th rounds, it was way too late. But look, credit to Prates though, because he did make it wild late, and in both those 4th and 5th rounds, it got extremely dangerous for Ian Garry. I mean, he hurt Garry, got him backing up, and landed some nasty ground and pound. And, you know, for a second there, I was shaking in my boots, thinking that I was about to brick yet another main event pick, because in real life, it looked like Garry was about to go out. But Garry stayed composed, survived the storm, and got the clear decision win. And you know what? In retrospect, I honestly don't think that either of their stocks really dropped significantly after this fight, honestly, which is exactly what you want out of a prospect versus prospect fight. And, you know, Carlos Prates showed that he was dangerous and has the ability to turn it on late, which was a lingering question I had going into this fight initially. Especially because we've never seen him go all 5 before. But then again, Ian Garry showed that he is a technician who can dominate early and can survive a late storm if he absolutely has to. But now here's where things get real tricky, because after a win like this, Garry's momentum is crazy. It has skyrocketed. I mean, you know, to all of our dismay, he's got the look, he's got the mouth, he's got the style, and now he's got the resume. And now people are going to start saying that he deserves a title shot. But honestly, I'm not sure if he's the guy who should be getting it just quite yet, honestly. I mean, he still lost to Shitrat, even though it was a war. And, you know, even in the corner over there, we still got Sean Brady, who was quietly stacking up a 3-fight winning streak and has just recently outclassed a former champ in Leon Scott. And of course, we cannot forget about the winner of Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. That could easily shake up the picture as well, especially if Joaquin Buckley wins in impressive fashion. So even after a performance like this, I still don't know if Ian Garry deserves to jump over all of those guys, really. Because in my honest opinion, next to the lightweight division, welterweight has got to take the runner-up spot for the most stacked weight division currently within the UFC. So to start skipping the line just because you can talk a good game and, you know, a win over a cat who was just unranked just still doesn't sit right with me. But during the post-fight presser, Uncle Fester did say that Ian Machado Garry will be the backup for UFC 315's fight with Bilal Remember the Eyeball and Jack Della. So I guess that's the route, you know, the UFC wants to take right now, but I ain't tripping. But realistically though, if I were Ian Garry, I'd be calling for a fight with Leon Scott next. I mean, look, it's the perfect matchup. I'm talking about 2 technical strikers with decent ground offensive and defensive games. It would be a clean, high-level fight. And beating somebody like Leon Scott would give Ian Machado Garry a real, legitimate claim to the next title shot without a single drop of controversy. I think it's a win-win if you ask me. But at the end of the day, Ian Garry went in there, did exactly what I said he would do, and made me look like the mystic Tunisian that I've always been. And yeah, he's annoying as shit. And yeah, he's gonna keep being annoying as shit if he keeps winning, but at some point, you have to respect a guy who keeps stepping up, keep taking hard fights, and keeps delivering when it all matters the most. But with that being said, he is not undeniable for a title shot yet, and there's still a lot more work to do, but for today, Ian Garry has proved me right, and it feels so damn good. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what were your guys' thoughts on UFC Kansas City's fight between Ian Machado Garry and Carlos Prates? Do you think that Carlos Prates' stock has drastically declined since his loss against Ian Garry, or do you think it relatively remains the same? And for Ian Garry, do you think he's next in line for a title shot after a win against an unranked contender, or do you think he's able to put on some competition against either Jack Della Maddalena or Bilal Remember the Eyeball Muhammad? Let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.